Alright.
They're here now.
Right then, let me just pull up a bit better.
Good evening, fellas and ladies.
Evening.
Even in, if you just want to come in, boys and
This
girls.
is right, isn't it? Can you help, Bob?
Welcome in. I see you've been to the same pant shop as me, haven't you?
I have.
Oh, yeah, eh?
I'm the same loafer shop as us. Do you know what I mean?
I just wanted to be like you, honestly.
I mean, I'll allow it because it's you, brother. How you all doing? You all
Hey,
Good
alright?
evening.
Yeah. You look like a green Lara Croft.
Who, me?
Yeah, looks very cool. And I am a sucker for them. unfortunately.
Skara Croft.
I think
They're
Yeah,
nice
that's
Ben.
face
I
shots.
think
I love
Ben's
them.
saying he's got a thing
Mm.
for you.
No, I love
Wait,
them.
can I sit? Can I sit down?
Bloody hell,
Let's
that's
sit down.
inappropriate, Benjamin.
Seems like a
Whilst we're all here, yeah, can I just get introductions, please? Obviously, we'll go first. So my name is Bob Bradley, joint CEO of Nova Corporation. You introduce yourself, gentlemen. We'll start off with Ben.
My name's Ben Gordon. I'm also joint CEO of Nova Corp.
I'm Bob Jimmy from Nova Corporation, third in charge.
I'm Deck Holt, and I am a Nova employee.
And
Oh, and that guy.
Aaron's. That's
Yeah,
Aaron.
he said what? And he's a magician.
Magic.
Interesting.
So you all know me, I'm Kyle. I'm one of the captains.
Donnie, one of the newest members.
Actually, let me correct myself. I am the captain. There's not another one now.
No, you're the
El
only one.
Capitano.
Captain. That's it.
Nice.
And who are you? I'm not familiar with you. What's your
Who,
name?
me?
Yeah,
You know who I am.
Scarlet Rose, boss lady.
Yes, correct.
Right. Well, we've had our introductions now. So if you need any food and any water from the vending machines over there in corner, feel free to help yourself. And if you'd like to follow us into one of these meeting rooms, just behind us over there, we'll have a lovely chat. All right. And I'm going to shut these doors just in case some fucking Jimmy's walking here and want some legal assistance. Do you know
Let's
what I
go
mean?
in this one. I like this one. Yeah.
Didn't realise you had vending machines.
I'll sit on this side.
Yeah, you can get
Does that
some
count?
sour cream Pringles if
Yeah.
you want. Do you know what I
Just
mean?
went
And
to
some
the shop and
Pepsis.
spent a fortune there.
Bloody hell. Well, them vending machines are pretty expensive, I'll be honest. Excuse
They
me,
are,
Bobby.
yeah.
Love that. Oh,
Oh, we
bloody
can
hell,
all
I'm on
sit
the wrong
amongst each
side
other
of
if we
I'm on
want.
the wrong side of the desk.
We're all
Sorry,
friendly.
Where's
guys.
you
your
know?
mum?
Kyle, can I ask you a serious question before we start? How are you sat so cool and I'm sat like this?
Because I'm just, just do what I am,
Just
Bob.
a G, innit?
Just chilling, ain't you?
That is a very cool pose. Deck's got it as well. It's just, I guess you're born with it and I weren't born with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But anyway, so I don't know particularly. We've got quite a few things to cover, right? Obviously, business changes to staff, incident that happened the other day. I'd like to start with focusing on what happened the other day. Are you guys familiar with what happened, or
I am. Is that with the Beats incident that I spoke to Ben about?
yeah, that's correct. So, tell me, Scar, what you know about this situation from your point of view.
What I can remember. Two of your employees, was it two of them, down on the beach? Got hassled by some of us. And then, okay, you got a random guy outside.
Welcome
And
back,
then-
Aaron.
Was it you and Ben that got taken hostage or something?
Yeah, that's correct. So, in a nutshell, me and Ben were down at the local Gap, trying on some new hats and some new shoes and that. And all of a sudden, this orange car with black tinted out windows pulls up outside. Two fellas wearing green masks stroll inside the shop and stick a fucking 6-shooter in my face and tell me to get in the back of the car. We both get in the back of the car. They drive us up to Sandy in the middle of bumfuck nowhere and take us out. And they're having a talk to us, right? They're telling us that the beach is theirs and that the beach all the way from Postal 602 to 310. That's for Telly territory and nobody's to come near it. Well,
Yes.
nobody's to try any hostile things in that area, should I say.
Can I ask exactly when this was, or what day? Do you remember?
This was, so put it this way, yeah. This happened, and then like a day or two later, I spoke to Tony, who was one of the people there.
Yeah.
Tony had recently woken up with a sore head and couldn't really
Yeah.
remember much, so
Yeah.
it was probably timed quite
Yeah,
coincidentally
as I
with
explained
that
to
incident.
Ben, Tony's no longer with us. The other person that was with him has been spoke to about
And
it.
also, yeah. So I'm going to talk to you about the incident, yeah. A couple of things, right? That kind of grind my gears. I can't speak for Ben. So obviously, the reason why they've grabbed us is because one of our boys, let's think it was Ricky, I believe,
Yeah. I'm sure he said it was
I'd
Ricky.
posted a picture on Twitter of him at the beach saying new beginnings, new opportunities, or something like that. Now, in case you guys weren't aware, Ozarks recently had a bit of a tiff with RDG. Tony had spoke to us about mediating that with you guys at the Fratellis, and obviously RDG came out on top. Now, prior to this whole thing starting, I did mention to the Ozarks that there is no shame in taking an L in a situation like this. Obviously, they've got less members, they're not quite as active, and it's always going to be very difficult to win a situation like that. But if they were to admit defeat, it's one of them. Like, rather than fighting a losing battle and then just flying out of the city and never to return, it would have been a shame to lose good people like that. So they took that tactical L, which I have nothing but respect for them for that. Obviously, at the end of the day, a lot of people could learn lessons from them, right? And so they've ended up merging with us now and joined the Nova Corporation. So a few days after that, when Tony's taken us up to the beach with, what did he say his fucking name was? Ronnie K, I believe he said he was called.
Yeah, it was Ronnie.
So this fucking Ronnie fella, never met him in my life, yeah, is up in my face saying, well, we've got a reputation to uphold and it's taken us a long time to build this reputation and we ain't going to lose it for no one. And I looked at Tony, I went, Tony, does this fucking guy know who I am? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't really remember much about it, but I do remember that I was part of a gang for about 12 months, do you know what I mean? And, like, naturally, I don't even know who this fucking random Ronnie geezer is, do you know what I mean? And he's fucking preaching to the choir on this one, and Tony told him, and obviously I don't appreciate that. He was talking to me about a reputation that he'd built, or that you'd built, kind of thing, Don't think he quite realised who he was speaking to in that manner. Obviously, you're all well aware, do you know what I mean, of my affiliation with you guys. But yeah, so that thing kind of pissed me off, I'll be real with you. Maybe just fill him in next time on if he's going to go grabbing random people. Maybe it's best to know who these people are before you fucking start shit talking to them. Do you know what I mean? Also, obviously, the fact that they stuck a gun in mine and Ben's face isn't exactly ideal. I told Tony that he could just give us a ring, could have just talked to us about this. We'd have brought him into the office, had a nice little chat with him, got him a fucking mochaccino from machine over there, or a bottle of water and a Pepsi on desk, But he decided he wanted to do things a different way, which we didn't appreciate. Now, I'll tell you exactly what I told him. If you've got any issues with us ever, you need anything from us, you want to ask us any questions, we're a legal, reputable firm. If I get taken out to the desert one more time, yeah, and have a gun stuck in my face over some fucking he said, she said bullshit, I aren't going to be impressed, all right? Now, I know you guys, I know 2 of the 3 people sat at this table across from me, and I know that you guys are of sound mind and you don't do dumb shit. And I know that Tony's not with you anymore, but Tony is the epitome of dumb shit. He
Yeah,
just does shit. Do you know what I mean? Off the chain.
I'll kind of say
The whole
outside of this.
beach, the
Yeah.
whole beach idea, because of where our compound is, it's not exactly on the beach, but it's near the beach. Tony come up with a brainy idea of taxing everyone on the beach. It was put in before we could actually properly talk about it. At the end of the day, the beach is a public place, so anyone should be allowed to go on it. if you want to go on the beach, that's down to you. Tony is no longer with us, so I can't actually talk for him. I have spoken to Ronnie about it, and I have told him to leave the beach alone. So you shouldn't have any issues there. Like
Now, just for the
like-
record, yeah. I mean, Ben, is this what you wanted to say before?
Yeah,
before
put
I
it this
interject?
way: this wasn't the first time Tony stitched us up within a week.
And that's
Um,
exactly why he's gone.
Yeah,
He was
and
causing
he-
more trouble than he
I'm
was
not-
good.
I'm not gonna lie to you. He kind of got you blacklisted from us.
Yeah, I remember
Well,
you saying.
I did mention that to Kyle, obviously. For
obviously we don't want that. We want a good relationship with you guys. I'm glad he's gone. Not gonna lie. Whatever he's doing, best of luck to him. But
So the
Tony
old
went
beach
round
thing-
causing a lot of shit for us before he was bloodied out. We're not actually sure what he's told people.
yeah, like I said to you,
I've heard
from what
rumours. He didn't like the fact that he was only a member.
no, he was running
wanted-
around like he was only in the gaff,
Yeah,
you know.
he wanted more. That is one of the reasons jointly why we blooded him out so quickly and didn't actually beg him to stay with us.
now, the
he
thing
wasn't-
is, yeah, before, like, you know, you were talking about the beach. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have had an issue if you wanted to take the beach, yeah. I don't give a shit. Like, the beach, you live on the beach, you know what I mean? You see the beach every day. If you wanted to take the beach, it's well within your rights to stake a claim to that territory, yeah. But us at Nova Corporation, just bluntly, we don't care about that. We don't have a territory. We have a nice little office just off of Vinewood. Do you know what I mean? We couldn't care less. Now, the fact that we had guns shoved in our face regarding something that we couldn't literally care about was very confusing to us. It did appear like Tony just wanted to. He were bored and he just wanted something to do. Do you know what I mean? So he thought he'd ruffle
Yeah.
a few feathers and that. But I would like to say, I have spoke to Tony since this happened. Since he's been blooded out, and like he doesn't really remember what happened. He doesn't remember his past discretions, or obviously doesn't remember what happened with you guys. Now, he did mention to me that he woke up next to 5 other people. Yeah. Now,
3.
if you 3 people, he did mention that he woke up next to Billy Bright. Now, obviously, I was confused by that, as obviously Billy's no longer with you guys. But if you would tell us the other people who was blooded out with Tony, then I would appreciate that.
You had Tony, Jack Kettle, and Roy. I don't know his last name. Ryan. I genuinely don't. I can't remember his last name. I'll be real with you.
I don't know his last name. He wasn't with us long. He was hardly around.
Yeah, so basically the people that left, other than Tony, there's only 3 of them. Those people, none of them ever around. So
Yeah.
to us, we've lost nothing realistically. Tony was just issue after issue. Thought he was boss and he wasn't. Every time he would ban anything, whether it would be Scarlett complaining about something that he'd done, he'd fucking drive off, fly out the city, and be in a tiff for a day, and then he'd be alright the day after. The geezer he genuinely just wanted Lisbon. He didn't like the fact that he didn't have it, and that's why he was gone, and that's why we ended up getting rid of him in the end. 'Cause
yeah,
he had a bunch of plans about blooding out Nico and taking over and this and that, and he didn't like the fact no one was actually backing him on it. So yeah, I feel like before he left a good,
Alright.
I'll probably say month, all he was trying to do was just bring our reputation down, just to fucking ruin it. So when he did leave, then we ain't really got a good reputation. And to be fair, that's probably what he has done.
yeah. It's like one of them. Like obviously, like Kyle, we're friends, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
If you ever had a problem, say it was the same situation, yeah, and these rumors have been going around that we're trying to take the beach. If you had the beach, you know what I mean? And like you ring me up, if I say, "No, that ain't true," I can promise you that that's not true. Then it's done, isn't it? But
Of course.
like, if I tell you, "Fuck you, fuck your beach," I'm taking it. Then you can fucking come and stick a gun in my face. You have every right
Of
to. You
course,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? But like, we're just not in for that shit. Do you know what I mean? Like.
I'll be honest, the beach was Tony's personal project. Me, Nico, Felix, Scarlett, none of us could give a fuck about it. It was Tony's personal project. I've never once been down there and taxed anyone. It was literally him and him only. Well, I say him and there's Ronnie as well, which obviously you know about, but he's been spoke to since.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
fine. Right. Seeing as Tony's fucking gone, that's done. Should we move on?
nutshell.
Yeah, it sounds like a good plan to me. So, obviously, just in case, let's just refresh all our memories on what we do at the Nova Corporation and how we may be of assistance to the Fratellis. We sell medical supplies, the highest of quality, to organizations around the city. This includes oxycodone tablets, cookie gelato joints, makeshift body armor. Okay. Now, we also have some VIP, very special membership, like for clients who have purchased off us and we have a good reputation and a good trust with. Obviously, I think it's a bit too early to talk about things like that at the moment, despite personal affiliations. But obviously, there is the opportunity to get some more, let's just say, more difficult to acquire items. Now, last time I spoke to you guys, I came down to your little compound. We spoke to
Please,
Nico.
Pauline, that's
Tony was there. I don't know if anybody else were there. I know Missy was there.
No,
We were talking about
taking them hostage for gun. with
Nico
guns.
said he might have some IFAC kits that he could get his hands on. Now, obviously, I
went in.
appreciate that our relationship between organizations might not necessarily be
Hmm?
in an
Yeah, 'cause
ideal
I went
situation,
in a
but if we
situation,
could
so I don't get it.
maybe
Understand.
hear a bit more about them, if they are a thing, if it's just something that was like a one-time thing or something, then that's fair enough. But if it's maybe like a regular thing that maybe Nico personally could get his hands on and he wanted to sell to us for us to then sell on, obviously we'd have to discuss a price and that, but you know, it is something that we could mutually help ourselves with. But it's up to you guys, really.
It's one of the things with that situation's Nico's. So I haven't heard anything about that, so that might have been a personal thing with Nico. He's on holiday at the moment. I think he should be back in City, I want to say Tuesday. Yeah, is it Tuesday? Yeah, something like that. So, if that is a thing, you're probably best speaking to him. I'll let him know that you've questioned it.
If he gets back to us when he's returned, I'd appreciate that. You know,
So
just to
back.
talk on that. At the end of the day, it's money for both of us. Obviously, if you can't get many of them, it's one of them, innit? I'm still happy to buy them. Maybe you use them in your own spare time. That's totally up to you guys. But we would be happy to purchase them for a fair price if
No,
you were
Smile's
to
always
get
getting
your hands on
bothered,
them.
you
Do you know what I
dickhead.
mean?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Now, obviously, is there anything that you guys would like from us? Any services that we
Red,
provide
blue, and green.
that may be appealing to you guys?
As of right now, probably not. In the future, you never know.
Like, obviously, I know
what you offer is always useful.
Yeah, absolutely, Kyle. I mean, like, look, people have got Oxy, people got Joint Share. They got them until they don't got them anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of
And
course,
obviously, when you haven't got them, maybe, I mean, I know Scarlet's probably fucking got like 1 billion of them stockpiled in a van somewhere, which is fair. But there will come a time maybe where you don't have them. Maybe you can't be bothered to grow them yourself or to do the Oxy runs. In which case, we don't charge a king's ransom. We charge 600 per. Makeshift body armor will run you 5k per, though. It's a bit more expensive, a bit more difficult to
Wait,
create.
even this, if you've got a fucking backlog or, you know, overstock of them, we'll buy them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
That's what I'm saying, you know?
So we have to keep it in mind. As of right now, we have got a bit of a stock, but I'm pretty sure we just keep them just in case. You never know what the.
Oh, yeah,
the
of course,
controls.
of course. But like, if you find yourself nothing to do and people want to do them, you know, bit of extra fucking cash on the side.
Well, yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I mean, is there anything you want to talk about, Ben? Anything that you want to discuss?
I'm still fucking shocked at that fucking Bentley earlier.
Honestly, that Bentley were a
Can't stop
joke.
thinking
mate.
about it.
That was atrocious. I can't lie.
I'm gonna wake up in middle at night screaming, looking at that engine.
Honestly,
Jesus Christ!
You've ruined my day even bringing it to me. I'll be honest. I was having a great day before I seen that.
I've ruined my own day by looking at that car. Do you know what I mean? Disappointed, man. For
You didn't buy it, did you?
£700,000. No, I didn't buy it.
700k?
It's a one of one.
Uh,
That's what he wanted.
There's a
for it.
reason there's only
Pays
one
a
of
bit
them,
too
mate.
much, that.
I was
Isn't it?
about to say that's the reason.
Yeah.
Bad dude. that, innit?
Whoever bought the one didn't look under the bonnet, obviously.
Obviously not. He just,
Clearly.
yeah.
No, I just
But I
want us to
mean-
be on good terms. You know, I fucking like you guys, and Just wanna get all that out of the way, you know what I mean? yeah. Feelings mutual, you know.
Of course.
So, just out of curiosity, who is actually in the Fratellis these days? Who is like? Do you know what I mean? If you don't mind.
So we've got. There's a number right now. We've got 11.
Yeah, something like that.
So obviously we got the standard Nico, Felix, Scar, me. Obviously Donny here. We got twins, obviously Missy, and then am I missing anyone?
Twins.
Ronnie.
Yeah. Well,
Can I-
they're coming up. They're not fully a thing yet.
I'll just ask you a question that you might not know the answer to.
Yeah.
With so many changes recently, like, is the Coke still being produced the same way?
Honestly, yeah. Like in the terms of where you'd get it, yeah. It's also the same.
Like the people you go to, you know what I mean?
Oh, so I think it's Joyce's, I assume LC, and then La Guerra.
Yeah.
But we spoke to La Guerra last night, and I'll be honest, I walked out of it absolutely fucking baffled because we. Yeah, was you there at the meeting? You wasn't, yeah? Was you?
I was, yeah. Me and
Yeah.
Bobby were there.
So we went to him yesterday because we got paste, and he was like, "Are you taking paste?" One of them said no. One of them said yeah. I was like, "All right, then is there a minimum?" One of them said no. One of them said 36. Then one of them said 72. I was like, "All right, okay, fair enough. Is there a maximum?" One of them said no. One of them said there is. And then there was like, "Is there a time frame?" One of them said no. One of them said yeah, 2 days. It was like, honestly, it was fucking.
I'll be honest with you. Obviously, we had the meeting, right? Meeting came from the horse's mouth. He said minimum 36 barrels, turnover 48 hours, if possible sooner.
Yeah.
There is no maximum order. So I would have just taken that for gospel. I would have handed it to somebody like Mike or Tommy or Kush,
You see,
somebody who knows what's going
None
on.
of them were in where they last
I
night.
spoke to Mike earlier on, and he said he's not really involved with it too much. So
Obviously,
Yeah.
you give it to Mike, and Mike gives it to who needs to do it. I'm not saying Mike necessarily does it himself, but if anybody's going to know where it's going to, it's going to be somebody with authority like Mike or Tommy or Kush or even what's that other geezer who's in charge? I always forget his name because I haven't met him much. That's the one, Thomas Begley. He'll know.
I don't
Trouble
think
is,
I've got
right?
any of the numbers. Let me check if I've got any of the numbers. Sorry.
Trouble is, like, they seem to be having a bit of fucking beef at the minute. Do you know what I mean? So what happens if, like,
There's
you
a
give
lot
him your
of stuff.
pace?
If,
Wow.
let's say if Fratellis give Laguerra the paste and Laguerra got taxed, then
Yeah.
Laguerra would then owe Fratellis for that paste.
Well, you would have thought.
I don't think that's, and if they don't give him it, then it's on. Do you know what I mean? Like fucking Donkey Kong, because at the end of the day, they're taking a percentage to do that for you. They're not doing it for the kind out of their art. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you
You're
That was
paying
the
for
other
goods
thing,
and a
weren't
service.
it? They gave us 2 percentages as well.
25% it should have been.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one
so
of them
said
said
25, and
30,
one said 30.
one said 25.
Yeah, they said at that meeting it's 25%.
They did say 25%. So don't let them mug you off. Obviously, they said that to everybody. It's now gospel. 25%, 48-hour turnaround if possible quicker, and minimum order 36 paste. Obviously, if things have changed, then they need to fucking make that clear to everyone. But as far as you guys are concerned, because we don't really do the paste, we don't do the coke, it's not our thing. Do you know what I mean? But realistically, that is your guys' thing, I'd assume, based off the fact that you just went to him yesterday to ask him. So you want to make sure that that's the numbers that you're working with. Do you know what I mean? And don't let anybody tell you any different, because they fucking had a meeting, they called everybody down there. Do you know what I mean? That's the standard that they've set. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, see, I was at the meeting, so I already knew all that you just said, but we went there yesterday and we just, are you taking pace? And that's when they threw all the different numbers at us, and we just left it fucking baffled.
Yeah, It's very unorganized. It's not what you
Yeah.
want. But obviously, like I said, just bear
only
those numbers in
we
mind.
the only numbers we had, none of them was actually in city, so we just thought, fuck it, we'll turn up there. Probably not a good idea, but we did anyway. And then people pulled up.
They're bound to be there.
I'll
Yeah,
be real
so-
with you. Yeah,
They
I'd
turned
just
up within
keep
a
it.
few minutes after us being there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just keep it. Obviously, you have to understand at the minute they're in a bit of an active situation now. They are obviously, I'd assume, still doing the pace, probably not at as high of a rate as they would like to be. but they're still definitely getting it done. So I'd be just bearing that in mind that when you see Mike or Kush or Thomas Begley or Tommy about, give them a ring, speak to them, and then I'm sure that they're more than happy to take that order. They value the relations with the other organisations, and they're good people from what we can gather. Do you know what I mean? I like them. We work with them frequently, and they've been fine with us. So just bear in mind, don't let them mug you off. Do you know what I mean? You guys know the score. They've given us that plain as day. Do you know what I mean, with the prices and stuff?
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I mean, like, obviously, I'm glad that you guys have come down. You're welcome anytime in this area. You know where to find us. We'll always be here. If the doors are ever closed, that means that. All I'm gonna say. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, look, I like you guys, Scarlett and Kyle. We've known each other a long time, and we always see Kyle, and Kyle's a good mate of mine. Do you know what I mean? Outside of the when I'm not wearing my Nova uniform and I've got my Chelsea shirt over, and I'm getting ribbed from every fucking which way from everyone.
Who are they?
The best team in the world.
Wait, what?
There you go. See, look,
I think you're-
It's okay,
I think
Bob,
you'll
I'll
get-
stand up for you.
I think you're getting them confused with the guys that had 22 shots on target and can score.
Yeah, and we had physical, like, we had 21 shots, 2 were on target, and we didn't even score.
Yeah, that's fucking
Oh,
embarrassing.
yeah. Well, I mean, you live and you learn.
it
do you know
shows
Go
what
and
I
get
mean?
him. Go and get a Man City one, mate.
Shut up.
But yeah, I mean, is there anything you guys want to talk about? You got any questions,
it?
queries, anything like that?
As of right now, I don't think so. No, shouldn't. But what I will
No, I
say
haven't.
is, you should never have any issue on the beach from now on. Well, not from us anyway.
I mean, the guy, one of our guys is going to get some fucking food from Belmont Bar, mate, and got called up on it. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's madness. That, as I say, that
Yeah, it
all
was
that
crazy,
Townie-
that.
It was all Townie, really. That wasn't fucking us. Just shit.
Yeah. We didn't think it was you. You know what I mean? Like,
Ridiculous, honestly. So, sometimes it's just like like you say, there'd be people on the beach. You'd fucking pull up to them and ask them what they're doing. It's like what your issue is.
no,
It's
if I'm
like, sorry, Ben, continue.
yeah, if I'm honest, like, because we don't really see you guys much anymore. If I was to guess, I would have probably said that Tony was like higher up. Do you know what I mean? Because that's the way he was
Yeah,
acting, and
Yeah.
so like we didn't know any different. Well, obviously we thought it was Tony's call, but we thought he was able to make that call. You know what I mean? But clearly, it's different.
Obviously, you have to also understand, yeah, that Tony used to be the leader of a gang called the Departed. So naturally, like, he's quite well spoken, and he can become quite imposing like that. But I'll be honest with you, I did assume that he was a bit higher up than he actually may have been. So we were quite baffled by, or should I say, flabbergasted by the actions that he had. And obviously, because he's part of you guys, we tinted you all with the same brush. Now, like I said, obviously that's been rescinded now that Tony's not there. We're happy to do business. Even if you're in a bit of a scrap, you need some of that makeshift body armor. If you want anything maybe a bit stronger, just give us a ring. Do you know what I mean?
The fuck's knocking on
Of
the door?
course. I always know you got my back.
Yeah, always, brother. Anyways, it's been a pleasure, yeah.
Is it, mate?
Thank you for your time tonight. I don't
It's
want to
always a
drag this
pleasure.
out for too long. But if you ever need out, you know where we are, all right?